Welcome to some NBA 2K19 Specialtatin. This is the first time I've done Specialtatin for this particular NBA game. There's some on NBA 2K16, which I still recommend watching. And as I've said in many a video before, no matter what the concept of the game being, I'm going to recommend watching my own videos, so y'all can take that as you may. But nonetheless, I'll try to make this as good and entertaining as possible. As well, even though I am more Gran Turismo related, GT4 ain't exactly the dandiest in terms of its online aspects right now, and it's an online focused game. NBA 2K19, well, it just came out, so let's see how good its online aspects are. This is about as straightforward of an online aspect as possible. It's just online play now, meaning you just pick two NBA teams and you play each other. There's different tiers in which the teams are in. Tier 3 is the worst, Tier 1 is the best. So this is two Tier 3 teams. I'm using the New York Knicks because they have Enes Kanter and Kevin Knox. Both of them are from the University of Kentucky. And Kristaps Porzingis doesn't hurt anything, even though he ain't from UK. And the other team is the Cavaliers, who have not LeBron anymore. Like Kevin Love and then no one else. So yeah, in theory I should win, but look at the score, folks. I ain't the dandiest player in the world. But anyway, this is starting the final quarter of play, so it could still go in many different ways at this point. But at this point as well, neither team, me or the online opponent I'm playing, has had larger than a 5-point lead the entire game. So it could go many ways, but as of now it's gone pretty much back and forth, which makes it for as entertaining as possible, really. So that ain't a bad thing right yonder. And what's also sort of kind of a good thing is I may be able to get the ball here, and I may be able to get the lead here, maybe. I don't know. Pretty much how I'm running my offense is through Kristaps, because, well, he's by far the best player, probably even on the court too. In rating, and I think just an overall talent, he's better than Kevin Love now. They're kind of the same player. They're both stretch of 4, power forwards. But Kevin Love is 6'9", 6'10", something like that. Kristaps is 7'3". So you have two players with roughly the same talent level. But then 5 or 6 inch difference, you're going to go with the one that's taller. And so far it's working out decently well for me. Once I have scored roughly half of my team's points for Porzingis, and I see no reason to quit that trend if these line up happen, meaning the opponent. But the opponent has also scored the majority of points of Kevin Love as well, so this is entertaining, especially because they guard each other. Porzingis and Love are both power forwards, so when they're both on the floor, they're usually guarding each other. I guess in theory I could move Enes Kanter to guard Kevin Love, but Enes Kanter is more of an offensive-minded player, so Kristaps probably all in all is a better defender, and he's just that much taller than him as well, so well, whatever that was just happened, and I don't know, at this point I'm not sure how much the matchups really matter when there's weird stuff like that going on. But I'm not going to question it as long as it benefits me. Which as of now, it is pretty decently. That was literally 3 times in the last minute that the ball got stolen. And then 2 of the last 3, it got restolen back immediately. If it's a loose ball, it's not an automatic steal. It's really not. If it's a loose ball, it's just whoever recovers it. If it's the team that already had it, retains it. If not, then it's a steal. If the team that already had the ball loses it for a second, and the other team does not even really have true possession of it, and it's pretty much just chaos to try to get the ball, that's not encompassing a steal. So that literally hurts both of us, because that makes the MT, the overall points, go down and all that. There's turnovers and such, which is kind of a negative for this game as well. Because I haven't played too many just online used NBA teams type games. It doesn't seem like you get much of a reward for these. Maybe eventually as you level up, you get the actual points, like the virtual currency, VC, and then there's like MT and all that, depending on what game mode you use it for, so it's somewhat confusing, but all in all, you just want to do as good as possible. I understand that. And I'm starting to understand how, like, the currency system works again. I used it in 2K16, but that was more of a test because I was thinking about getting 2K17, and well, I didn't because it was pretty bad. And then 2K18 was worse, and it seems like 2K19 is better than 2K17 and 18 so far. But, well, in terms of gameplay, all of the 2Ks of the PS4 era have been pretty good, so this is more of the stat, and I'll worry about, like, the currency system later. As of now, I think I definitely need to worry about my own play, because if Kristaps Porzingis can't hit a layup right out of the basket, then something's wrong there. And with the score being this close, I can't really afford for too much to go wrong here nor there, or really anywhere, offensive, defensive, any part. But luckily I'm getting steals by the CPU usually, so that's good. And that's even better, there's leaving me open. That was totally me there, just defensive lapse there, and then I got the shot timing right, and here we have it, folks. In terms of old games versus new games with the shot meter, I think in practice this shot meter is better because it's like by your hands where it's located and you just shoot with your hands. But I feel like in theory, though, it's kind of a weird idea because it's just overall smaller and there's like less of a range. I like see it. This 2K16, the overall system was better, so you could see your shot that was clearer. Now you have to be looking right at where the hands of the player are, and you can't really scan the court in case you need to pass it out or a defender coming or whatever. But again, that's why I say in theory, but I think in practice it is a little bit better. Both of them are fine, but there's advantages and disadvantages to both. But anyway, I'll fast forward 5 minutes as I did there, because there's probably going to be quite a few more. Even though there's only a minute and a half left of the game, it's tied right now. So yeah, that's But luckily, Enes Kanter shoots. Whatever. Enes Kanter is actually not a bad 3-point shooter, but kind of the reverse of what I figured would happen there. Like, generally, you don't shoot threes with the center, and generally, the player who ain't the center is not the one that gets the offensive rebound. But again, I'll take it, even though it was a bit weird. It ultimately helped me in the end, so I'll take it. I just need to play good defense, and looking better as the game goes on. I have a slight lead, and it's looking like I am playing good defense. The other thing called the timeout, I have a 2-point lead with a minute to go, so as long as I don't let them score here, eventually they're going to either start fouling, or they may not, but I would assume it's going to be fouling, because online, you don't see as good as the team does in real life. 3 throws. 1, because the game just came out and you don't know everyone's released. And 2, lag. I'd say we both shot roughly 50% or so from the 3-throw line, and that seems to be the average for the 2 or 3 games I've played. One of which ended up in a lag out. The other one I lost by like 20, and then here's this one. I'm an average player at best with this mode, and then I'm relatively bad with like one-on-one and stuff because reflexes. With this mode, that can be counteracted with like strategies and just knowing how to play the game better. But yeah, I'm not really going to attempt too much like one-on-one type stuff. But this, I'm not terrible at. I mean, there's still lead. Melt the clock here, get a good shot, and that's a pretty good shot, really. Well, again, that actually wasted slightly more time there. Got a little bit worried there, but luckily just overall players are better. Really? I'm gonna go back there because I think that was pretty darn well contested. Granted, my CPU is getting some offensive rebounds for me, but that's more to the lapse of the other player allowing that, like not boxing out and stuff. Like here, I'm right on the guy. I'm pretty much jumping, and he just dunks. Standing dunk. That's where I can't. I think that's Tristan Thompson. I'm not really sure. I mean, really, does Tristan Thompson seriously dunk over Enes Kanter there? I'm not so sure about that, but whatever. I can get the ball back so I can take the last shot. So I dictate the game. Make it win, miss, lose. If I want to use up the entire clock. If I get a good shot I can't refuse, then, well, I'm gonna take it. Because all the shooting percentages of both teams are relatively low. They're lower than the NBA averages, I think. Again, new game, and if I'm in a game, that means the player's not necessarily good, so... well, that'll work too. Just leave Kristaps pretty much open there, and I can just shoot over to the defender. It was as good of a shot as really asked for, where we had like 80 inches on that defender, and yeah. I'll take that, but now I just need to defend, and then I'm good. But that's honestly okay. I feel more trustworthy in my defense than my offense. If I was down by one and needed to score, I'd be a bit more worried than up by one and defending it overall. But I was actually just down by one, and I did score, so... well, let's just see what happens, folks. The time is definitely ticking down. This will be most definitely the last possession of the... again, really? I was pretty caught and picking well defended again. I guess that wasn't necessarily his matchup because Kevin Love's matchup would be Kristaps, but still, my hand was in the air there. I didn't foul there. I did all I could there, but still, the other player scores. I did all I could. Again, it's basically the same situation last time, just with less time. I mean, 8 seconds is still plenty enough time to get up the court and then get a decent shot if I can get a decent shot. Realistically, 8 seconds and 20 seconds are roughly the same thing because I do have time to get up court and then see if I can get someone open. But, well, let's just see what happens here, folks. I have to make a decision. I don't need a three. I mean, if I can get a wide open three of a player who can shoot, which that player can, then that may be better than taking up against two defenders. Enes Kanter's great and all. He should have definitely been allowed to play at Kentucky, but that's a different video. But let's see, folks. Oh wait, I just popped faked and I just faked out the AI plus the user-controlled player at once. I win. I don't know why that wasn't a dunk there. Enes Kanter can definitely do a standing dunk when he is open, when he fakes out the other players and they're no longer on him, but there we go, folks. That's a win. I would hope. Right, there's... oh yeah, that's definitely a win. Okay, I'll admit, maybe I didn't deserve as many breaks as I got. There was a lot of CPU being on my side and not the other player's side. But I will say this, in terms of where I had a chance to capitalize with my own players, I did so. Like, either way, if I did that pump fake or not, one of those defenders would have jumped. And I would have just tried to angle into the defender that did jump. And I would have drew the foul. I'm not saying I necessarily would have hit 2 3 throws, but Enes Kanter is a decent 3-throw shooter. And I do know his release from previous games. Some of the Knicks players I don't, but the two that I know that they release pretty good is Enes Kanter, because I like using players who played for University of Kentucky, and Kristaps. Enes Kanter was clutch at the end of the game, and then Kristaps Porzingis is a good player all around. But, I don't know, y'all can take that as you may, but nonetheless, Seth was on my side enough to cause the other player to make their own mistake, which completely cleanses me the game. Unless he gets an inbound steal. Which could happen. Because this is only going to be 1 3-throw, I think. So yeah. Inbound steal, I'm still kind of screwed. His 3 seconds is enough to run down the court. And at the very least, you get a dunk or layup to tie it, and maybe a 3. So I definitely do need to get the ball inbounded. Let's see what happens here, folks, because this is literally deciding the game. Well, I did get the ball inbounded, but now it's looking like he might get a foul. I'm in the back court, so I don't really want to follow the path they're giving me because that guy's right there, so he's going to foul. So I either need to go backwards and then risk getting a steal and then having plenty of time for the person to score, or just try to run right at half court line without crossing it. So that way, even if he does get a steal, he wouldn't have enough time to score, or if he fouls, it still wastes quite a bit of clock. So let's see what happens. Don't cross the half court. I'm just right on it, but I haven't had 2 feet cross it yet. Tick, tick, tick. Well, good, he jumped, so now I win. I caused 2 clutch mistakes at the end. Even if the CPU was kind of more on my side than the other players, I caused a lot of clutch mistakes with my own strategy and the other players' mistakes because of whatever CPU may have been on my side. So I benefited with what I was giving enough to just barely squeak by with the win. And I'll take it. That game could have gone a lot of different ways, really, depending on a lot of different circumstances, but all the circumstances that needed to be in my favor were, and I got the win. I can't really complain. It was far from a perfect game. I don't know how much y'all can judge overall player talent by 1/4 of one game, but I'm not gonna brag. I'm not gonna act like I'm the greatest player in the world or anything. From what I can tell, I'm roughly average at this game mode, and then I'm fairly bad at the other ones that are more one-on-one based and not team-based. But anyway, here are my final stats. As y'all can see, the 2 best players are Porzingis and Cantor. As I said, I carried the offense with Cantor. Porzingis. Porzingis kept me in the game, kept me having a fighting chance. But overall, I think Enes Kanter won me the game, because by the end of the game, he understood that I was going to give it to Porzingis, and therefore I couldn't really do it, even though kind of like the third last shot. I just happened to get a good inbound play with Porzingis, but other than that, it was pretty well guarded, so Enes Kanter won me the game, while Kristaps Porzingis kept me in the game. So overall, that's pretty big good, right, Yonder? As far as Kevin Knox, the other UK player mentioned before, he was there. He did things. Yeah, it could be worse. He could be that guy. Knit. You know what? Kevin Knox wasn't the worst, and Enes Kanter was pretty good. Oh, I think that's worth a yeehaw. I know 2 players on this team, and that was enough to win. And I got the skill to win, too. Yeah, knowing 2 players and having just barely enough skill to win means that there may be more NBA 2K19 Specialtatins in the future. So hopefully it's worth a yeehaw. Hopefully, and this wasn't a fluke. Hopefully.